What up, nation? Welcome to another edition of the WiseTake NBA DFS Early Look CK013 here. You can find me on Twitter at CK_013. And I, of course, am from the WiseTake Nation, which you can find on all the social media platforms listed below or directly WiseTake.com if you're looking to take your DFS game to the next level. We are a premium DFS content provider as well as a DFS community design to help make you a better DFS player. We have projections, cheat sheets, core plays, Paulie fast break sheet. We do a pre-lock show Monday through Thursday live for our members where we start 45 minutes prior to lock, take you up to lock with a breakdown of the latest information as well as trying to keep you up to date with any news, late breaking news. The NBA news is obviously very important. Even more than other sports. Obviously, it's important in every sport, but even more than other sports. But check us out there. Day passes are available, $2.50 all it costs to get access for the content, for NBA content for one day. If you're new to this channel, welcome. We do all kinds of free DFS stuff here. So make sure wherever you're watching or listening from, you subscribe, you turn on the notifications bell, and don't miss out any of the free stuff we put out. Also hit the like button. Likes go a long way, really help us out. I appreciate those of you who wish me congratulations on having my first child. Much appreciated. I didn't respond. Obviously, you can imagine my time is pretty thin right now between doing the WiseTake dirty and now doing the diaper dirty. But I appreciate those of you who reached out and, been having a blast personally and looking forward to winning more diaper money here at this thing we call DFS. NBA has been good to me so far. It's been good to us, and we're looking to keep the momentum going. We have a pretty awesome slate. 10 games, it's big, but we've had a lot of small ones. We're coming off a 2-game slate that was kind of brutal. So I'm looking forward to it. That being said, we'll go ahead and jump in. The first guy at point guard, position by position as we always go, that stands out in cash games is Damian Lillard, right? No CJ McCollum. You know the floor for Dame is high. Got off to a slow start this season, but without Dame, without McCollum on the court, we know the usage for Dame goes up massively. We know Nurkic is also out for a little while. So I think Dame, in terms of these spend-ups, is the optimal as of now. James Harden is losing. James Harden is obviously getting Kyrie back. So that's going to be a little damaging to his usage rates. Luka hasn't been as consistently smashing. He's still a phenomenal play. But Lillard is the clear standout in terms of these spend-ups. Going down from there, we know the situation in Indiana with Karis LeVert not being able to play is something to keep an eye on for the outlook of that team. Victor Oladipo would be the next one that stands out. John Wall is out once again. We saw Oladipo have a massive usage rate, which is why I wrote him up in the core article for his new team. He's playing a Phoenix team that I think is trying to improve defensively. They certainly played at a slower pace, but even at 7-8, I think we have to keep an eye on Oladipo in this particular role, at least until John Wall does come back. Fred VanVleet's price has dipped after having a couple bad games, not even consecutively. I don't mind that for tournaments. John Morant, only 7,300. John Morant played 34 minutes against Phoenix. Did his thing. This seems like a price that's just a little bit too low for him. I know he's coming back from an injury, but he's played a couple games already, and the minutes really weren't limited at all. That tells me he's ready to rock. So while Dame is certainly a phenomenal cash game play, I think Ja is an interesting tournament play. We have a lot of news we're waiting for. Tyler Hero's questionable. Sexton is questionable. These are all things that we're make a decision on once we kind of get that information. But I'm comfortable with Dame at point guard, at least for the first look. Kevin Huerter is 9.95. That's got to be a mistake, right? He went for 45 once. It's got to be a mistake. I just had to look at that. Maybe that was supposed to be 5'9", and somebody kind of hit the dyslexia button and put in 9.5. Not really sure there. I think that Paul George and Kawhi are interesting tournament options. I'm just going to state it. Simply because Sacramento has been a nut team to attack this year. We know Ricky Rubio is out for Minnesota. D'Angelo Russell has played well recently. Orlando is not always the ideal candidate to a target, but they do have some injuries, missing guys like Markelle Fultz, who is one of their better defenders. Is something to take note of. But on a price standpoint, you're paying through the ass, and there's no way that I'm sacrificing Dame to play D'Lo. At least not in an optimal cash game type build. Eric Gordon is 5'5". He barely hit tournament value. I guess you could say he fell a little bit short of tournament value, as a matter of fact. But I was comfortable with 34 minutes he played. He did take 17 shots, took 7 threes. Oladipo soaked up a lot of the main usage, but he still had a pretty sizable role, and 5'5" still kind of seems a little bit too cheap. I don't mind plugging him off to the side once again. We'll go over to small forwards. I'm already there. Is Tatum back? Tatum is still out. So Jaylen Brown, he's had massive usage playing Philly. Pretty important game, right? Or at least, two potential playoff teams, that rivalry game, if you will. So Jaylen Brown's on the table at 8-7 because of the increased usage. They finally raised Jeremy Grant's price against Miami. Fell a little bit short of hitting that value, but it's still phenomenal. He's shown a just really strong upside on this team in this new role. We'll keep an eye on him going forward as well. Andrew Wiggins is questionable. We'll have to keep an eye on that. DeAndre Hunter's questionable. We'll have to keep an eye on that as well. Coming down, what stands out? If we get it like a situation where Wiggins is out, I'll load the hell up on Oubre, no doubt. I'll load up on Oubre. Dougie McBuckets has been playing well, but they've now priced him up to a point where you really you need him to play well, which is obviously not a territory we love. Gary Trent Jr. not getting the same minutes we saw last year when McCollum missed. I think he's fine for tournaments, but the floor is ridiculously low, and they've been playing Rodney Hood as the starter over him. Rodney Hood was obviously hurt for a big portion last year. I think Anthony Edwards is worth considering, at least in tournaments at 4,500. With Rubio out, I think we're going to see some other guys kind of step up on that second unit. And he took 16 shots. He shot terribly, 31% from the field, 5 for 16, but he did take 16 shots and played 30 minutes. So something to keep an eye on. Keep in mind they are missing Cat as well, which explains the price increase for Mr. D'Lo. Josh Jackson's down to 4K again. He's back in that role, huh? They gave him a shot. I guess he wasn't cutting it. Guess he wasn't cutting it. Nwaba started and only ended up with 21 minutes. Okay, no doubt. Looking at power forwards, same situation with Harden. With Kyrie expected to finally return, makes me a little bit nervous, especially against a bad Cleveland team that they should destroy. Sabonis has been awesome. He's another cash viable player you can make an argument for. I won't argue against that at all. I got nothing for it. Chris Boucher continues to do his thing. His price is creeping up, but he continues to be phenomenal, continues to ball out. Got a matchup against Miami. I'm totally fine with him. He's someone that I'll be sure to make a conscious decision on, if you will. John Collins, we've seen his upside kind of take a hit. Seems like Capella is kind of eating into his rebounds. He's not taking a ton of shots, so that's an issue. But the price is starting to creep down. You can see 6,900. He has not been that cheap in the last at least 10 games that DraftKings goes back to. So at some points you kind of need to buy in. Cedi Osman's been playing real well, playing huge minutes with Sexton and Garland both out. We'll need the news on that before we make any decisions there. Brandon Clark, playing big minutes, 30 minutes, 34, 30 minutes, 35. He's been solid. Now, his price is up to a point where you need him to go to extra mile to get you tournament value. So I wouldn't necessarily consider him a cash game play at this point, but I think it's definitely a tournament play. Bagley, however, I would be interested in cash games. Now, I know for a little while his minutes were weird, and we'll want to make sure there's no limitations. Obviously, they've been weird with him, like babying him, but he's probable. We saw Whiteside out. We've been seeing Whiteside out. We'll check the status on him as well. But he's been playing phenomenally, and the Clippers are not good against bigs. 5'6" does seem a little too cheap for the situation that he is in. They're just not raising it. Not really sure why, but they're not doing it. Vanderbilt continues to play well also. Only took 4 shots, 3 for 4, but getting 8 boards, got 3 steals, got a block. He's just hustling. He's hustling, but the price is elevated now, 4.9. So it's there, but it's not like, stone cold lock status. But with Hernan Gomez out, Cat out, like he's playing. He's definitely playing. So I think we can certainly look to him in tournaments at least. Moving on to centers. They got KD listed as center. Huh? Drummond's been a beast with all the injuries. Drummond hasn't played in a while, Looks like they haven't played. Jaylen hasn't played since the 15th, where he went 74 DraftKings points against the Knicks. I don't see why he couldn't do it again here against DeAndre Jordan. But he's very, very expensive, and you're picking him over Sabonis, over Embiid. Vooch's price is extremely low. You're picking him over a lot of people. Vooch looks like a pretty awesome play, actually, at 8-6. Christian Wood, man. This dude is awesome. Against Chicago, it was a nut matchup. 1 for 44 in what is like in a good matchup, a floor game. I say a good matchup because against the Lakers, you saw what his floor could really be. But he's in another good matchup against Phoenix. We know DeAndre Ayton, not a good defender. I really like Christian Wood again at 8,400. I think that's where his price should be. He's just been that good from a fantasy standpoint. He really has. Capella, I don't mind either, man. He's been playing really well. Against Portland, Minnesota, playing big minutes nowadays. Price is elevated, but he's gone for over 50 DraftKings points 2 straight times. Jonas Valanciunas is out. Well, I didn't even realize that. COVID-19. So that's going to be a boost, obviously, for John Morant. Going to be a boost for pretty much all the Memphis guys. And let's see. Does that mean... So, number one, that's a boost for Brandon Clark, who we expect to see an uptick in minutes. And I would think that means more minutes for the gorgeous Dong. When's the last time Joval played? On the 16th. Okay, so they have played a game without Joval. Gorgie Dieng did not get the minutes. It looks like Brandon Clark, that's why Brandon Clark may have gotten 35 minutes. So Brandon Clark gets a boost to that 6K price tag is a little less imposing at this point. Xavier Tillman. Here we go. Some value action. 4 fouls. Did play 29 minutes. And he played 28 minutes in the game before. So we may have found some value here with Xavier Tillman going up against Portland. So definitely a boost for all the Memphis guys. That's looking like the game stack of the night in optimal builds. Right? Just load up here. We got injuries on both sides. We got some cheap players to work in. It's looking pretty good at this point. And we even have on the other side, we know that Nurkic is out. So Enes Kanter is now getting pretty big minutes. 29 against Atlanta, smashed. 27 against San Antonio, did not. But no Joval here. Joval is one of the better rim protectors for Memphis. So I think that's a big boost for Kanter as well, who should get a usage increase with the injury to McCollum as well. A lot of good plays. You know, I'm just talking about the ones that stood out to me the most. Naz Reid did get 28 minutes. It was disappointing and has been disappointing all season. But if he's going to get 28 minutes because they're starting to play Vanderbilt at the 4, then we have to consider him. What is Ed Davis doing these days? You know, Wiseman is probably also a pretty good play. He busted his shark against the Lakers. He got into foul trouble real bad. I don't really see him getting into a ton of foul trouble against LaMarcus Aldridge. Cousins, also kind of a disaster, but again, really good matchup. He was 0 for 7 from the field. Had 6 rebounds in 16 minutes. I'm good with trying Cousins in some tournaments. And again, keep an eye out on what they do with Gorgeous Dong. If they decide to start Gorgeous Dong at 4-4, he becomes a phenomenal value play. He's already in play. It's a little weird that he only got the minutes he got, even though Joval was out. That's just weird to me. But I don't know. Dang has been pushed out of the rotation. Okay, so there you go. It's because they want to play the rookie Xavier Tillman. So Tillman looks like the play. I'm going to put him off to the side here. He looks like the play. We'll pluck him out. And I think that's going to do it for the first look. Some pretty good plays out there. I think this is a 10-game slate. There's a lot to go through, a lot to look at, a lot to consider. But there's a lot of pretty solid stuff that I think we can build the core around. Damian Lillard, obviously, going to be a cash game staple. And I think Tillman will be as well. But a lot of good tournament pivots, man. It should be a pretty good slate. Hit the like button, nation. I appreciate you. Monday through Friday, we do the dirty. Same thing with the Wise stream. And go check us out at WiseTake.com. Join the nation. We have a Slack chat for members who have a monthly membership or higher. But even if you want to mess with the day pass, that's all you need to get access to our pre-lock live shows, aka the Wise stream. You know, anything else we may do that's under the paywall, which I've been talking about doing some strategy stuff with mass multi-entry and stuff, which will be for members only. Check us out. $2.50 all it costs. Hit the like button. For myself, the entire WiseTake Nation, as always, good luck.